What do dangerous flash floods and perfect warm fruit pies have in common? In Capitol Reef, the answer is everything. They are two sides of the same coin. A reminder that the civilized world and the untamed wild are just a paved road apart. Capitol Reef is one of the most approachable wild places I've ever visited. The National Park Service has done an incredible job making it accessible. You can drive stunning scenery, pick apples from historic orchards, and enjoy warm pie made from fruit grown right here. But I was about to discover just how thin that sense of safety really is. The park even gets its name from this clash of worlds. Early travelers thought that the white Navajo sandstone domes looked like the U.S. Capitol building, and they called the impassable ridges reefs because they blocked travel like a barrier in the ocean. Capitol Reef is famous for its towering sandstone cliffs, colorful rock layers, and natural water-holding basins called tanks or potholes. But the real marvel here is a massive 100-mile-long warp in the Earth's crust called the Waterpocket Fold, named for the water pools in the stone. It's what geologists label a monocline, and it thrust upwards 70 million years ago. This is one of the best places in the world to see an exposed section of our planet's raw history. Standing at this defining feature, it's hard to grasp that I'm literally looking at a seam of a massive geological wrinkle. I drove to the trailhead for Hickman Bridge. As I hiked the trail, my mind kept drifting to the man the bridge is named after, Joseph Hickman, a local school administrator who deeply loved this land. In the 1920s, he fought hard to protect it and even proposed turning the area into a state park called Wayne Wonderland. My thoughts were interrupted when I rounded a curve. There it was, Hickman Bridge, a stunning 133-foot natural bridge of stone. Unlike arches that are slowly carved by wind and time, a natural bridge like this one is born when a persistent water force cuts straight through solid rock. Back to Joseph's story. So just days after the state finally agreed to create a park commission to consider his request, Joseph Hickman tragically drowned at only 37 years old. He never lived to see his dream become a reality. I thought about how life so often works the same way. We can offer everything we have, but the final chapter is never fully ours to write. Long before any roads or orchards, the Fremont people lived here. They built their storage granaries high up in the cliffs because they understood something I'm still learning. This land can be generous one moment and powerful the next. They didn't try to tame the desert. They learned to move with it. Then came John Wesley Powell, who explored the area in a wooden boat complete with an armchair bolted in. His team's survey maps lit the way for the Mormon pioneers who came a few years later. They planted orchards and tried to make a home in this giant wrinkle they called Fruta. They left other marks too, like the Gifford House, where the last family lived until 1969. And the park continues the tradition of homemade pie using fruit from the many orchards. And the one-room schoolhouse that also served as a community center until it closed in 1941. There's also the giant cottonwood, called the mail tree, where news arrived by wagon every 3 weeks. And even a pioneer register of names, carved on a wall in Capitol Gorge. To read those names, you have to travel the same path the pioneers did, but the road I'm driving is vastly different from the one the pioneers created. Back then, it was just a rugged track through the canyon floor that they hand-cleared to squeeze their wagons through. Some improvements came in the 1930s, when the Civilian Conservation Corps widened and graded that terrifying old trail. Then, in the 1960s, highway engineers paved the modern route I'm driving today. Looking at it now, I'm struck by how easily I take all this for granted. I rolled along that day feeling totally at ease, windows down, enjoying the towering cliffs. I even stopped under the picnic pavilion, stood in the shade, and never once considered that this quiet gulch could turn dangerous. It felt so safe. 2 weeks later, a massive flash flood ripped through that exact spot. Cars were swept away. The pavilion area I had casually walked through was completely underwater. That hit me hard, even though I was miles away when it happened. This flood became a mirror, showing me exactly how fragile my sense of security really was. But the real test was still waiting for me on the Hogback. It's a narrow ribbon of road with 1,000-foot drops on both sides and almost no guardrails. Clutching the steering wheel, I felt a wave of anxiety and awe all at once. The sheer scale of it just hit me. How small and exposed I really was. I was lucky to have a friend with me. I followed their taillights the rest of the way across. Standing in Capitol Reef's red rock grandeur, it finally sank in. Nature doesn't apologize for its power. It simply is. The warm apple pie and the raging flood aren't opposites. They're both true at the same time. And maybe the deepest lesson this place has taught me is this: I am not in control. I'm simply passing through. The real question I carry with me now is, how willing am I to accept the humble truth these wild places keep showing me? And what small piece of it will I take home?